Morning, Marty.
Morning, Len. How are you today?
Today is a fine day. We're sending you some more bad weather, by the way.
Oh, please don't. It's such a beautiful sunny morning here in New York City.
Yeah, we had that yesterday, but we got some surprises for you. So, how's things in New York?
Well, they are quiet as ever still. Uh, I feel there's a lot of energy and it's ready, it's waiting to be unleashed. Although there appear to be some obstacles still to want to unleash all this energy, but hopefully that'll change shortly.
Yeah, well, we've recognized across the country that our people that are involved with the Institute are doing very, very well. I mean, the conversations are really opened up to what's happening in the economy. People are anxious to try to figure out some of the things that they can do and discovering new ways of solving the problem. I was thinking just last night, as I get older, there's not too many defining moments in our lives. And I think this is one of them. And we can only react to this. We weren't really prepared for this. So everything we're doing is reactionary. And unfortunately, that's the same way we think about planning. A lot of our planning is done after the fact. And after the fact, we find out that the aftermath or the aftermath is wrong. And we end up having shortfalls and not being prepared for retirement. So part of our circle the wagons thing is simply uh, putting together conversations with people and talking this out and see what's going on in their area of the country and what's going on in the industry. And I think it's important to have these discussions because it's not really about product anymore. And this isn't these conversations and the discussions we've had in the past isn't out there to measure one's intellect, but to look at the process and its results that we've been using and how they've been changing. Can you see the attitude changing in the industry, Marty?
Oh, I believe so. At Security Mutual, we've been having all these webinars talking about process so much more than product. And just again, reinforcing what, certainly you and I have been talking about is being in front of your clients, having these important conversations, taking a leadership role in your client's life. It's if you're not doing that, I don't know what kind of advisor you want to be. People are desperate for our help, and now is the time that we really have to shine as professionals.
Yeah, if you're not reaching out to your clients right now, you never will, and or else you're not very good at what you do, or you don't have the courage or the confidence to go out and have this type of discussion in a downtime. I mean, we're
Yeah,
pushing probably by the end of the month we'll have 40 million Americans unemployed, um,
it's
and
mind-boggling to think of that.
and we have talked in the past about the immediate impact and the residual impact. We're just opening the door. We just have our hands on the doorknob of opening the door to see what's out there and what's left of our communities and our society and our businesses. And I think it's going to be alarming. I have all the confidence that the market will come back simply because they're printing more money. The numbers in the market, remember, we're measuring that market on volume, not necessarily on value. And as they print more money, the volume numbers go up. So the problem is, you know, the part of the thing that keeps me up at night is we're still involved in a product process that involves a lot of times the unfortunate confiscation of our time in pursuing results that we want. And what I mean by that is um, time is our greatest risk that we put into a plan. Uh, that's our part. That's the public's part. They're investing their time, their most precious asset, and we're chasing many times results that aren't secure. And so the question is, why are the financial problems we're facing in the future of risk, taxes, regulation, inflation, depreciation? we're facing these problems and we know it. It's a certain. Why are the solutions we're seeking? How come they're not certain? And it boggles my mind. We continue going down this path trying to figure out uh, how to get back to where we were, but the actuality is that you know um, we've lost the time, and without the time, the elements don't compound. So I think that's part of when I sat up last night thinking about the defining moments, and we've talked about these in the past. And what is your take on the defining moments, Marty? When we take a look at the industry's goals versus the client's goals, and what I mean by that, um, the industry's goals obviously is to manage and maintain the client's money for the longest period of time. That's how they make their money. Let's be honest. But the client's goals are to reach their goals in the least amount of time. So there's a little bit of a conflict there.
There's
Yeah.
just a tiny little conflict there. Yeah, it's
And so,
again, it's trying to understand how you know banks and financial institutions make their money as opposed to the way that we as individuals
so,
make money, accumulate wealth. Uh,
so the
it's
question is, are our conversations headed towards the goals of the client or the industry? And I believe that for many people in the financial services industry, they're still having those industry conversations.
yeah, yeah. It's especially now, the time appears to be so anti-wealth if you listen to the politicians, and so anti-wisdom uh, in terms of what people are seeking or what the solutions the politicians are proposing at this time. There, I don't think there's a greater opportunity now for the Wealth and Wisdom Institute to share its vast knowledge base, whatever, and to apply the wisdom that it has with all our individual clients that we deal with there, especially now with all this money being printed, this uncontrollable government spending and uncontrollable government debt. It just feeds right into the problems that are going to be created now and certainly going to last way into the future. That's why
Yeah,
I'm hoping that people can understand what the defining moments are of the value of what your money is.
yeah.
Is it
And it's
what is your money?
it's devastating when we look at the aftermath of what's happening right now. But the two defining moments, and it's just based on common sense. Your money will never be worth more than it is today. We just went grocery shopping this morning, and typically we spend about $120 just for basics and stuff. We bought the basics today. It was $189,
Yeah,
and so we have to take a look at um, the process of inflation and the cycle of depreciation that we face in our financial futures. So your money will never be worth more than it is today. And the reality is the way the government's printing up the money and building up the debt, this is going to be the lowest tax bracket you'll ever be in. And
without a
so
doubt, without a doubt.
from that nightmare in the middle of the night, then you start thinking about another one. And we talk about buying power and the aftermath of what we're trying to accomplish in planning is reaching an accumulation number for that client. Is that not true? I mean, we look at the illustration, say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, here's the number you wanted, and there it is on the illustration. So therefore, it's good.
Yeah.
Um, but when we do we ran through this before, but in the back of my head, let's slow the game down just for 1 minute. And let's say we put in $100 into a marketing uh, investment, and we use let's use the S&P 500 rate of return over 15 years, which is right around 5.8%. If you put $100 in and you let it sit there at that return, you'll end up with $238 accumulation. Well, we started out with 100. Here's the magic on this. We started out with $100 of buying power, and now we're looking at a piece of paper that says $238 of accumulation power. I can't spend accumulation. We have to convert the accumulation dollars back to buying power. And if we do that, we take the $238 and we tax just the growth on it, and we use an inflation factor on it. At the end of 15 years, even though we started out with $100 of buying power, we end up with $117.72 of buying power. And it's not a 5.8% rate of return. The buying power rate of return is 1.1%. So I think it's time to redefine some of the thinking that we've used in the past. And if we understand this and explain it to the client in just that short period of time that we just talked about, they'll begin to realize what's going on, and they're going to ask you those five magic words, Marty. What should I be doing?
What should I be doing? That's exactly what I was going to say, Len. That is almost the goal of every conversation that we have with clients, is ultimately for them to realize that they need to be asking, should I be doing now? If this is what reality is, and it's so hard for many people to see what reality is, certainly in these days that we're living in right now.
Yes.
If we can get them to say, what should I be doing? We've come a long way.
Not only for the client's sake, but for our careers and for the industry. Let's start opening this up and showing people the real challenges that they're facing. You know, the defining moment, you know, and just give one last quick example on this. If we were doing some planning for somebody, say we start out in the year 2000, and the goal was to accumulate $1 million for their retirement 20 years later. So we start from the year 2000, and we go to 2020, and we accumulated that $1 million somehow miraculously. What you must really understand is, since the year 2000, the buying power of the dollar has dropped 31%. So when that person retires, they don't have $1 million of buying power. They have $690,000 of buying power. And the real sin, the real aftermath of that is, now they must pay taxes on the $1 million of accumulation with the $690,000 of buying power that they have. And that knocks down that buying power retirement figure after taxes to around $520,000 instead of $1 million of buying power. And those are the challenges that we're facing. And I think until we learn, until the client learns, until the industry learns that leverage and time are the most important discussions we can have with people, and the understanding that I don't know what the industry's problem is with the word certainty. We're all trying to risk our way to success. And when we start having these conversations, it's amazing.
Well, it truly is amazing. You know, the desire for certainty is on the forefront of everybody's mind, and if we can't provide it in our profession, doing what we do with what we're all about, you know, perhaps there is no hope then. But I'm an optimist, and I believe, you know, we're at the right place at the right time, and with perhaps the greatest opportunity for certainly our clients right now.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Marty, if we don't have the conversation, nothing ever happens. The idea of owning a number in the future, in your client's future, if they own a number, they know it's theirs. And the big sin again of the industry is, I don't think we're preserving value inside the family that's already there. My parents had some values. I have values for my kids in my lifestyle. It should be insured. It should be ushered in their financial future and ensured that it will maintain its value. And we've lost that way. We're continuing trying, oh, let's look at the marketplace. Let's look at the marketplace. And the answer is right in front of us. Ask your clients, how many of you are expecting some type of an inheritance in the next 10 to 20 years? And then give them that moment and then just say, why not? And life insurance is the perfect vehicle at this point in time in history to create that leverage without the element of time, meaning this, I can sit down with a family and create $500,000 or $1 million in their financial futures with certainty and then have them pay for it. There is no risk. They understand exactly what they have to put in to own that number. And that's the amazing part of our conversations. So I'd like to, talk to you next week too about some other things that are going on in our government and how it's going to impact us. But I think if we dedicate ourselves to the education and discovery and understanding for our clients, that we will have start to rebuild the relationship business that this whole industry was founded on. Because I think we've lost our way. What do you think?
I think you're 100% correct. This is all about relationship, and it's all about the educational process that we take people through. It couldn't come at a better time. And you know what, Len? I want to own that number. People want that certainty, and they want it today. And the great thing is, as you just said, we can help them achieve it right now, today.
It's amazing conversation, and it's amazing to watch their reaction when you offer it to them. And so with that, Marty, I hope everything goes well in your neck of the woods. I hope your family's doing well, and I'm looking forward to talking to you next week.
Very good. Thank you, Len, and the same to you and yours.
You take care. Great one.
Thanks, Len. Bye-bye.
Bye.